There is a growing talking point that there is an assassination plot against Donald Trump. Now, almost certainly, there are people who would love to assassinate every former president and every current president. Joe Biden gets assassination threats. Trump got them. Barack Obama got more than any previous president. George W. Bush got them. Okay, so in some general sense, the point of the Secret Service, among other things, is to track and pay attention to and investigate assassination threats against a former or sitting president. But there is a growing talking point among the American right wing, the MAGA people, that the FBI raid on Trump's home is part of a growing assassination plot. Now, before we even look at the clips, and the first clip is going to be from Steve Bannon, you have to at some point apply some basic level of critical thinking to this stuff. And you should be saying, if there was an assassination plot against Donald Trump, why would a legally executed search warrant on his home be part of the assassination plot? Why? Why would you need that? For the people that believe that the CIA killed John F. Kennedy, why would they have needed to first serve a search warrant on his Hyannisport home or the Kennedy compound or whatever? It just doesn't make sense. You don't need a legal FBI raid as part of an assassination plot, but this doesn't matter to them. This doesn't stop them. Let's look at this first clip. And by the way, it's Steve Bannon, so it's not merely an assassination plot. It's a deep state assassination plot. Take a look at this.
And I agree. I do not think it's beyond this administrative state and their deep state apparatus to actually try to work on the assassination of President Trump. I think everything's on the table. I think his security ought to be at the highest it's ever been. And honestly, I think he ought to, and I think he should have flown down to Mar-a-Lago this morning, walked out there at noon today and said, hey, I'm running for president of the United States. Suck on that.
Well, that was my next question. As his former top advisor, what should Trump be doing right now?
Right.
I think what he should do is action, action, action. I don't think there should be any more of the tweets, no more of the true social stuff. That's all nice.
Listen, there's not going to be any tweets. He's been banned from Twitter for a long time.
They put out a video last night. No more videos. We're beyond that. You know, they're trying to not just put you in bankruptcy. They're trying to liquidate InfoWars, which is obviously one of the major news sources out there for the MAGA movement. They're trying to liquidate
MAGA.
InfoWars. They're putting Peter Navarro in chains like a common felon.
All right. So anyway, the deep state is working to assassinate Donald Trump, and there's been planted materials at Mar-a-Lago. No evidence of any of that stuff. Then on Newsmax, and we looked at this earlier in the week, here's Bernie Kerik. And I should actually be precise about Bernie Kerik because I alluded to this and then I was not completely sure about it. Bernie Kerik is former police commissioner, but also a convict. He pleaded guilty in Bronx Supreme Court to ethics violations and acknowledged that when he was Interior Minister of Iraq, he accepted a $250,000 interest-free, quote, loan, and loan is in quotes. It's not really clear what the deal is with that. Then he was indicted by a federal grand jury the following year in White Plains, New York, on charges of tax fraud, making false statements. In 2009, he then pleaded guilty to 8 felony tax and false statement charges. This guy, if anybody knows about criminality, it's Bernie Kerik. And he is on to say, I think they may be trying to assassinate Trump with all of this. And again, the question is, Bernie, you used to be in law enforcement. Why do you need to execute a search warrant in order to assassinate someone?
And I just put out a tweet about this. If you remember back in 2016, when right before he got elected, I was in Washington, D.C. I was at a couple different social events, and I heard people talking. They said the Democrats want this guy so bad that they wouldn't put assassination behind it. And I'm going to tell you something.
Please.
They've tried impeachment. They've tried another impeachment. They've tried one investigation after another. This is about one thing. This is about stopping him from running in 2024. Ooh. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not into conspiracies.
Right.
I'm not into anti-government rhetoric. This is the first time in my lifetime that I would say I am deathly afraid for Donald Trump. I would not put assassination behind these people. I just wouldn't.
You make a very good point, Bernie. He gets Secret Service for the rest of his life based on what we have known recently, what we hear about deep state. He may find it in his best interest to get his own security with the Secret Service.
Ooh, understand that. The deep state may be so deep, it may be in the Secret Service. The Secret Service may have it out for Trump, and thus Trump should have private security to protect him from the Secret Service, which is there to protect him from everybody else.
As well, Bernie, about 20 seconds left. Final thought.
Listen, I couldn't agree more. What just happened is no different than happens in Venezuela, Colombia, Cuba, and countries like that.
Unfortunately, it really doesn't happen in a lot of those countries. In a lot of those countries, you would never see a search warrant conducted on a current or former official. You wouldn't see it because they actually don't have the administrations control law enforcement and they control courts. And these are the horrible things in some of the places that they talk about. So you actually would not see that. No evidence for any of this. No evidence for any of this, but they're talking about planted evidence. They're talking about assassinations. They will not stop. And they are throwing everything they can at the wall to see what sticks. We'll have more coverage of all of this on our Facebook. Make sure that you have found our Facebook page, facebook.com/David Pakman Show. And remember that if you've been missing all this week, we've been doing live streams covering the latest revelations on all of this. If you've been missing the live streams, you can see the top clips from the live streams on the second YouTube channel. That channel is called Pakman Live. And you can find it at youtube.com/Pakman Live. Believe it or not, that's where you can find it. Don't miss the live stream coverage. We will take a quick break and be right back. Much more news to discuss today.